so now type some text in there, and then go ahead and attach my signature to it, just so we get some. Why do you need this here? No, go to signature. There, okay, signature, and put. Oh crap! Oh, this is on that new machine. Sorry, we don't have a signature. Okay, so we'll get to see. Drop a. See if you can find a video, some kind of JPEG or something. Drop it and just to show you both embedded attachments. So just anything that's. They're start at PNG. Correct. Yeah, they're tired looking at that. Let's make them more tired.
Okay.
Okay.
Send.
Okay, 6 seconds. Okay. And probably we're running a debug mode here because we're in the development cycle when I was and stuff like that. And I just didn't want to fight. So essentially, what happened is he had to reboot. You noticed a few moments ago. It doesn't bring up the framework until it absolutely needs it. So it's bringing it up now for this purpose. And now. Okay, so now what happens is, now, you'll wonder, and I can tell from this crowd, we're going to get the immediate question, oh my God, you're not going to want to contend with all this and stuff, and they don't trust me. They won't have to. But at the moment, the first time you send something to somebody and you don't know who they are, their new sender, you don't have them in your database, or you don't have them in your list of so you get some options here. And today we're just going to start supporting just the Outlook, as you know, has 3 different formats. When it sends an email, they have their internal MSG format, which is all the body and their attachment all bound together. And you can separate the body as a separate HTML or separate, or just as plain text, and then you can do attachments. We support all those things individually. Today we're just going to do the message things simply because that's what we set up the demo for. That's what we know works. So here we're going to do the message format, which binds. You don't get a chance to separate the attachments if you choose this format. If you go click off the cloak, click that off, and now you can start separating whether you want to cloak just the body or whether you want to cloak the attachments separately. We don't do subject, but we cloak either the body or any attachment separately or independent. And you can attach different amulets to each, and for each sender, and we'll get into that here in a minute. We're going to close it back on to do the whole thing. And then so what we're going to do here, just to get through this first pass, just to show that this works, go down here to add amulet from Hive. Click on that guy, go up and pick that, whichever one, I can't read, can you see on your screen? The one that has the EG2, I think, is the one we know the passwords to is the problem.
Yeah.
So we're going to remember the passwords. Okay.
That's it.
And just say accept. Okay. And so that was it. All that stuff you saw before has gone away. You don't enter any stuff into it. So now you see here bounded. If you could read that, which you can. So you email some information that identifies the amulet that you attach to this email. Go ahead and click send. Okay, and it tells you this is the first time. Now, we have a thing, we don't know until they go to a value add service. We don't know if they're just an innocent bystander receiving an email that they need to read, in which case there's no. But in the case where they want to send something, we want to audit trail it. We want to know who the heck this person is. Now, they would have either pre-registered for Amulet themselves, and we would know it that way. And so that's what we're going to use. We're going to attach an amulet to this, to which they've already registered. That'll give us the audit trail information, to know who they are. Because we collect a lot of information. We have them captive online at the time they sign it. So say yes here. And so we're going to sign into, this is the only time you have to know everything, because we assume if you created this amulet, you would know all this information. We expect you to enter it here. So go ahead and select one of the hand eyes. Yeah, you'll have to, we got a problem. This is just above here. So drag it off to the other screen there, Scott.
Oh, yeah.
It'll work. Drag it off over there and then bring it back so we can see. I have a problem. I made this. We have a problem negotiating the Outlook environment. This is our own environment here. We own it as an application, which all we're doing is using the AdExpress to communicate events back and forth. So now we have the capacity to do anything in the environment, which gives us some unique capabilities you'll see here in a little bit. But because of that, we've got to manage the relationship between two independent applications here. We haven't got this perfected, so we've got Windows on top of Windows. Okay, so go ahead and say, here what we're doing is we're just signing into an AMUmail that you should know because you own this thing. This is your Hive. You create AMUmails for it. So this tells us we already know who you are, and just going to log into that, and that's going to tell us this you are the person that bought from us. So, okay, go ahead and, okay, so that was, I lost my, where are we at, Scott?
Oh, here we go.
Okay.
Say it didn't pop up.
Okay.
That's it.
Whenever you log into that, you have to know what the registration is, so enter that if you would. I think that's the 11222. And this is a one-time only. This only happens once the entire life of the application.
Given it's not human readable, any reason why you just go ahead and just create a random GUID? It looks like a GUID when you fill it in there.
It is, but it's not random. I mean, in other words, it's already been pre-assigned.
I mean, it's meant to be unique, right?
Yeah.
It's supposed to be globally unique.
Yeah.
Well, rather than having make the user type in all those numbers, why don't you just generate a GUID and say that's what it is?
No. The GUID already exists in the, there's an entity behind this. There's a Hive.
I got you. Yeah.
So, and that's already been
Well, why do you
created.
type it? So what's this number then?
We're typing this in just to show his bona fides. This is the first time. Before now, you've never been asked about our AMUmail attachment to log into anything or whatever. Because you might be a recipient. You have no need to log in to review an email that somebody sent you. This only happens when you're buying a value-add service, which is to create. We only charge content providers. So,
Okay, but I was just mostly talking about that
Yeah.
What's the purpose of that? I know it's like
to match, to match an ID that's already, we happen to pick the simple one that's already in that Hive. We're logging into a Hive.
No, so just
In
what's that
general,
number?
yeah. So it's like a username, password, all
And a
also have
good,
to know
it's a good, that's a given, it's good.
So why did you have to type it in? Why don't you just generate it? If it's human readable, and let them type in, just give them one thing. If it's not human readable, then why?
No, it was already generated, so it's, what I have to do is I
He
have
has
to
to
provide
match.
it for proof to get, that I can
So you gotta make them
access.
remember something that long?
For one-time application, they just, remember, the path, the workflow here is, they just downloaded something, they just went to our website, and they got a Hive. The next thing they got free downloads of
So
this.
you're saying they're gonna have to remember that number?
Pardon?
They're gonna have to remember that number?
For this one time,
But that's part of the workflow. They're gonna have to remember it for later, right?
yeah.
So, okay.
Well, I mean, there's other ways you can do it, but
There's just no way a human's gonna bother to go do that. I'm sorry. You either make it simple, make it just like a password, which has no problem with passwords, or.
this is not a password.
But you're using it as an identifier. That's not my point. My point is you're expecting to remember something from one point to the other.
Right.
And that's the equivalent of a password. And what they don't like about passwords, they won't like about this.
They're told, when they come to the website and they register, they're going to say that when you sign up for an application, use value-add service, we need a way to identify you. You have two options you can do this. This is one of the options.
This is the cozy we're done. All right, I'm fine.
This is one of the options that we gave them. Is that you could use the good. We could have said a bunch of other things when we chose this. We need some way to.
I think that your consumer experience could probably be
Yes.
improved on, and that's not really what we're here for
Well,
anyways,
that's what we
right?
didn't think of
Okay.
before, because we're
So,
in development.
I mean, I agree with your concerns 100%, but I don't think that's, the underlying technology is what we're trying to understand.
Right, and that's really our focus, is we're not.
Yeah, okay, thank you very much
Yeah,
for
thank you.
all your good
Yeah.
questions.
Thank you guys, by the way.
Yeah, thank you. Yeah,
What was
what
your
you were just saying,
question?
too, that's not
I mean,
our
I think
focus, we wanna be
it's
the
like,
technology.
Totally
Let
get
other
that.
people
I don't want
develop
you,
these.
I totally get that, yeah.
Not the budget stuff,
Yeah.
the next level decomposition, so.
Cool.
All right, well, that's good.
Just so we all compare it here, we would never do this anyway. Well, normally what would happen is you would have a corporate account that somebody set up. The idea that an individual would do this is kind of unusual in the first place, because they're gonna have some relationship. But we have a whole bunch of ways, which we don't have a website right now. You go to our website, log on, and you say, how do you want to register your apps? And you get to choose this. And so we chose, well, we use the GUI, whatever. We chose that. We could have done it a couple different ways, but in any case. So in this case, we actually chose both GUI and log on. So we did the GUI, he's gonna log in, and basically to get some kind of, okay, so once you do that, what happens is that you have, I can't unsee this. Okay, so,
That's as good as it gets.
we skipped a step, Scott, that's okay. We skipped a step, and I need you to drag this off and show them what we skipped. I need you to, okay. Okay, Scott, if you drag this off over here, please. The reason this, you're gonna drag it all the way out, can you drag it back? I just need, okay. The reason this popped up, this dialogue here, is this a continuation. We have already logged in now, it's accepted it, or else you've got a bunch of emails saying.
Oh, I'm sorry. Oh, sorry.
So that was the process of logging into AMUlet, registering myself, right?
No, that was specific to this AMUmail add an application.
Okay.
We're just registering the application. It's just as though you had bought a CD of Microsoft Office and they make you a key.
That's what I'm going through right now.
Yeah, you're going through the
Whole
exact same
registration
process. If
okay.
you notice, if you know how Outlook works, that's the
Right.
model. You buy that Office, you put the first application you
Okay, so
sign
then I
into, that's what
register
we're
and
doing.
give me the plug-in, and then I can start to do that, so let's get back to,
Now
I don't
what's
need to
hap-
see all of this, so let me ask you this.
Well, now we're in the email. See, what's happening, that was, the first time you use a value-add service, you have to log in, just like Microsoft.
I get that.
Okay,
The user-
now we skip past that.
Let me
Now-
ask some technical question, because you had a point about technology. Explain to me the keyless generation. That's what I want to understand. Forget the UI. Tell me your keyless, if I have an attachment and I'm enciphering, and any encipher requires a key, then how can you say it's keyless?
Well,
Because you didn't say you
issue-
generated a seed, and a seed is a key. So,
there's a whole different, the issue with keys, and
Explain to me
everybody,
a
you
key.
guys should know. Okay, let's talk about what a key is, because there's I don't wanna, okay. Let's go back to the basics. A key, the problem with the key is what? Passing it around. Both entities have to know. We don't have that. The reason we don't have it is that it is natively embedded in two different places. Do you know how keyless car fobs work? Okay. That's kind of fundamental for, and something, but I mean, obviously you're not a person, so like that. But if you're gonna get into encryption and you wanna understand the interfaces between firmware and software, you need to understand how keys